Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Against All Odds. And as I say at the beginning of every podcast, it's purely a selfish reason I record these episodes because I get to speak to inspirational people. And today I am so excited because this is the man that's taught me everything I know about the brain. It's Gregory Caremans. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this man has completely changed my life and how we use our brains and everything like that. So absolutely honoured to have you on. I always start with the same question. How did you get into this?
Into the brain?
Yeah,
Well, brain science. Yeah,
yeah,
well, there is yeah, all roads lead to Rome, obviously, in one way or another. And I've always been fascinated in understanding the why behind things, right? Why we do certain things, why certain things happen in our life. And when I was younger, I wasn't really looking into scientific explanations for that. But then in my career, as I was working in learning and development, I ended up working as the director of the Institute of Neurocognitivism here in Brussels, which is a very reputable institution here. And I was just blown away. I mean, suddenly, all the theories, all the sometimes fluffy, well, yeah, fluffy. Do you say that? Yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah,
Fluffy, airy theories about things that might be. Suddenly, everything was like had scientific explanation of why we do the things we do the way we do them. That was it. Just blew me away. I was totally fascinated by it, and I never looked back. That was over a decade ago, and since then I created the Brain Academy, as you know, and yeah, the rest is history. It's been a total fascination. And since then, unfortunately, many things have happened in my life that just reinforced the importance of learning about the brain. So, referring here to people close to me, my grandparents, cousin, friends who had issues, brain-related issues, being dementia, Alzheimer's, and other related neurodegenerative diseases, which made me even more acutely aware of the importance of all this. And so, I became my first guinea pig into trying and applying everything I was learning myself before teaching it and passing the information on to others. And yeah, as I said, never looked back.
never look back. And thank you because you share it with that there's all brain coaches all over the world now. It's great. I
Exactly.
absolutely love it. Now, a lot of people who follow this podcast, their main concern is mental health
Right.
and managing stress, anxiety. Emotions can cause a big problem for people, can't they?
Yes, absolutely. And it's messy. I mean,
Mm,
and that's the beauty of the brain. When you look at it, it makes so much sense because once you know where the emotions come from, what parts of the brain, how they function, how they can really take over the brain and just override every rational piece of functionality in there, suddenly it makes a lot of sense why we struggle so much with our emotions, and eventually also leading to mental health issues, etc. Yeah,
yeah. And I mean, life is fast paced for a lot of people now.
it is.
The modern world doesn't kind of back brain health or mental health, really, does it?
Right. So yeah, and I don't know about your the people who follow your podcast, but I have children myself. They are teenagers, and as such, I have a lot of my friends who have teenage kids as well, and we have this conversation all the freaking time. Like, I mean, for us adults, it's already a higher pace than for our parents or grandparents, etc. But for the kids now, it's
Yeah.
madness. It's just madness. So, like a couple of days ago, I wait, no, yeah, 2 days ago, literally, we were sitting there having this conversation with parents, talking about, okay, so what is it with the kids? What is different? And we're like, well, it's one of the elements, because there are many, obviously, but one of the elements is the iPhone, right? Or
Yeah.
the smartphone. You are never disconnected anymore. I mean, we were talking about homework. Why aren't the kids doing homework? It's like, well, when I was 15, I would go to my room and I would end up so bored that I would end up doing my homework because I mean I had
Yeah.
nothing else to do, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
just doing nothing and being bored to that, or doing your homework, well, whatever. I'll end up doing my homework sooner or later. But they don't get that option anymore now. They're
No.
always connected. There's always a chat going on with friends, or there's a or it's Snapchat and TikTok and videos, and it's not like, ooh, let me sit down to watch a documentary. No, no, no. It's instant dopamine hit of 10
Yeah.
second videos, and I mean, we now have expressions for this called doom scrolling and brain rot. I mean, brain rot? Really? The answer is yes, really. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
rotting your brain. It's madness. And the kids, I mean, they, as I teach at the Brain Academy, as I explained, the brain is not fully developed yet when you're 15, 16 years old. And so, by the way, that only happens around 24, 25 years of age. So there's still a long way to go. And so what is not fully developed yet, what hasn't reached maturity yet, is the part that helps with impulse control, that helps with long-term planning, that well helps with self-discipline. All the things even we struggle with these smartphones and apps and everything. So for them, it's even worse. It's even harder to fight against it because they don't have the hardware is there. The software isn't installed yet. Let's put it that way
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
their brain to be able to fight against it. So it's overwhelming for them. It's really overwhelming, and it's and I'm worried because I don't know where all this will lead uh,
Yeah,
10
yeah,
years from now.
I was just
No,
about to
right?
say, do you think, say, like 10, 20 years, they'll have enough scientific data to say, right, it's damaged that generation? Do you
So,
think, they've got to have, surely?
well, actually, we don't have to wait 10, 15 years anymore. The whole smartphone generation started 10 years ago. We already have the data, and already certain countries are stepping in and acting. I don't know if you heard about this, but in December, there was a new law that came into action in Australia, banning all social media for youngsters below the age of 16.
The UK is piloting that at the moment.
Right, and France as
Yeah, yeah,
well, and many other countries as well, because they all realize, like, they look at the scientific data and they go like, "Ooh, this is not good," because when once you understand what's really going on in the brain, it's really alarming. And um, so just to give you a slight understanding to your listeners of what's going on, is that basically, as I was explaining, the parts of the brain that aren't fully developed yet, are little by little coming online, are the parts that are really about impulse control, emotional management, that kind of stuff, right? So what's going on now with the youngsters? It's every time they are bored, every time they're scared, every time they don't feel well, they feel uneasy, every time they're sad, every time, but also when they're happy, they take out their phone and they start scrolling, talking with people, whatever. They interact with their phone. So it's like an immediate dopamine hit, which makes them feel better, right?
yeah,
So the issue with that is that they're not teaching their brain how to manage their emotions.
yeah,
They're basically outsourcing their emotional management to a little machine. And their brain, which is comparable to, well, the brain is definitely not a muscle, but the function of it, the functionality of it is the same idea. Like, the more you work, you train a muscle, the stronger it will become. Same with the brain. The more you will use it for certain activities, that's called neuroplasticity, you will become better at that activity. So if and vice versa, if you're not using it for certain activities, you will become weaker at that activity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're not doing emotional management, if you're not teaching your brain, training your brain to deal with emotions yourself, but just every single time you outsource that particular activity, which is very important, right? Emotional regulation. If you outsource that to your phone, I mean, that's as bad as it sounds. It's not good. I mean, it's
No.
one of the vital skills you need to develop as a teenager to be able to function well in society. And we're just skipping that for TikTok videos and other nonsense out there.
Yeah, which were designed to grab your attention straight away as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Oh, it's scary as shit. I mean,
It
oh, sorry, I don't know
is.
if
No,
I'm
no, I
allowed
know we swear all the
to.
time here, but it is because they realise, they have neuroscientists realise that it's that 5 second like to grab your attention.
Yes. So they designed
Right.
these apps with the whole it's I mean I'm happy because more and more I read about this in the media because 10 years ago you didn't hear a word about it.
No.
Now you start hearing about, yes, they're using casino related tactics to grab the attention and keep the attention. The whole just scrolling down, the movement when you scroll down is yeah, it's from it's like the
Yeah.
the how do you call these the slots, the machine slots, right?
Yeah.
In casinos, it's the same concept. It's that same movement basically, um, and so I mean the ping, the notifications, it triggers the dopamine, which is dopamine is known as the reward and the pleasure chemical, but it's more actually what we know now. It's more about anticipation than it is really about.
Yes. Yeah.
So you hear the ping and you go like, oh, anticipation. What's the message about? Who has contacted me? Who has sent me something? And then there are all these different there are all these different methods that they're using, like intermittent rewards, which is again a casino-based thing, just like with the slot machines. Sometimes you win big, sometimes you win small. That is actually way more addictive than each time winning big or each time winning
Yeah.
small. When sometimes you win big, sometimes you win small, sometimes you win nothing. The fact that you don't know what's coming, just like with the little bing, oh, I don't know what's coming, the same way that hooks you totally. So we're basically giving our teenagers, and I'm actually very generous when I'm saying teenagers because apparently nowadays we give those phones to 6 years old and 8 year olds old already.
Chocolate. Yeah.
And so we're training their brain towards casino-like ways of interacting with machinery. I mean, there is there is no version of this where we come out on top. You know,
No.
it's the big multinationals who are playing with us, who are basically using our children as guinea pigs and not even hoping for the best. They're just hoping to make a lot of money. That's the only thing they're interested in. And
It's bad
okay,
as
I start sounding like a conspiracy theorist, which I'm definitely not
no,
really.
I know you're not. I
I'm just authentically worried about this because I know how the brain works. I know how this impacts the brain, and I
yeah,
see it with my kids every
yeah,
day.
yeah, absolutely. You see it in adults as well,
Yes,
where they
yes,
feel lost, where they've
yes.
left their phone somewhere. It's that moment of panic.
Right.
Yeah, it's it's
Yeah,
yeah,
or who hasn't scrolled and then suddenly watched their watch and go like, oh my God, it's 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. The other day, one of the parents was saying like, it was 4 a.m. suddenly. I slept 3 hours because of the stupid TikTok stuff. Like, so even adults can't deal with it.
yeah, yeah. Do you worry with children though? There's that instant gratification, so delayed gratification will be
Right.
harder. Would you worry about that because everything's instant, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Well, here we go. So there has been a lot of studies, a lot of research regarding what makes you successful in life, right? So what is it we need? And there has been very thorough research and fascinating research coming out the last 5 years regarding that. One of the authors um, one of the books that I highly recommend regarding that is called Grit. And the name of the author, I'm just missing it. Come on, what's her name again? She's a university professor. The name will come back. But grit, and so grit. What are we talking about? Perseverance, endurance, right? What is grit all about? It's about saying yes to what you want, but most importantly, saying no to what you don't want, right?
Yeah.
Being capable of, like, when you study, friends go by and, hey, let's go on party, and you go like, no, no, I stay here and study, because long term I know that studying will be more important than going out every night, especially during
Yeah.
exams and stuff like that. It's the same with, for example, an athlete who wants to work out and prepare for a big competition or something like that. Again, a lot of distractions, a lot of temptations, and the capacity to say no to that temptation is very important. When you're capable of doing that, that's the endurance, the perseverance, right? When
Yeah.
in business as well, when things go bad, what do you do? Are you capable of pushing through and pushing through the pain, the fear, the all that, or will you just give up immediately? I mean, no company can build itself into a multinational success story if you give up the first moment there's something coming up, right?
Yeah,
Same in
exactly.
relationships. If every time there's like a potential partner smiling at you, and you go nuts and go and start flirting and being and being unfaithful, well, yeah, you're not going to have a lasting marriage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, it's about being capable of saying no. But that's a skill that you train. Again, it's a prefrontal cortex that only comes to maturity at 24, 25 years of age. But it comes in little by little. And um, there was a fascinating study about the marshmallows back in the 70s, I believe it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Marshmallow study is adorable because they they were testing out um, exactly that, the capacity to say no. So they invited small children into a room, like one by one. So the child would sit there with a marshmallow right in front of them. And the researcher would go out and say, I'm coming back soon. You stay here. Now, the marshmallow, if you want, you can eat it. But if you don't eat it, if you don't touch it, once I come back, you'll get two marshmallows. And of course, when you're 6 or 8 years old or 10 years old, my God, two marshmallows, you know? You would be just crazy to go say no for a second marshmallow. So the researcher leaves and they film everything. The researcher leaves, and what's happening there is that um, the yeah, it's like a hidden camera. Actually, they made him hidden cameras based on that.
Yeah, did they follow him into adulthood as well?
So you see the kids, they start sniffling and smelling and touching and nibbling even a little bit, and some just give up immediately and eat the marshmallow, and others they wait, and so and they so then they come back and then they explain of, I mean, there was this little girl, she broke my heart. She went like, I thought about it and I decided I only wanted one marshmallow. And she ate the marshmallow, and you could see in her eyes that she was like, yeah, that I mean, she ate it, but she wanted the second one. She really wanted it. Anyway, so the point is about all this is, okay, why do we care about marshmallows? Yes, of course, certain kids are capable of saying no, other kids aren't. So the interesting part is that they followed these kids up, and 20 years later, or maybe 10, 15 years later, they saw that the kids who were capable of saying no to the marshmallow, well, later in life, they did better. They had higher SAT scores. They had more stable relationships, that kind of stuff. They were just doing better, faring better in life. And so, yeah, the capacity again of saying no, right? Of
Mm,
resisting temptation. And again, the everything is so immediate in life today. We're at no moment there are hardly any opportunities left for our kids to to strengthen that capacity, that willpower, that self-discipline to say no and to bite through, to try harder, to continue to prepare yourself for the harsh reality of life, where not every, I mean, once you'll start having a real job, or even already at university, I mean, if you don't pass, you don't pass. I mean, there's nobody to save you. If you lose your job, you lose your job. If you don't work, if you don't show up, if you don't feel in the morning like going to work, well, guess what? You're going to lose that job. You will need those skills, you know.
Yeah.
And for little things, but for the big things even more. So yes. So recently, the last couple of years, I heard reports that this new generation, the youngsters, would be, and I speak conditionally because I'm not sure this is 100% confirmed yet. But the new generation, Gen Z, would be the first generation with a lower IQ than the one before.
Wow.
Yes. So that is troublesome because forever the next generation was smarter than the one that came before. Every new generation, ever since we started recording IQ, and for sure before already, you know, because of better health, because of better food, because of better education, because of everything, the new generation was smarter than the older one, which was a great thing. It meant progress,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
As humanity as a whole was advancing. And apparently, not only came it to a halt, but apparently it's reversing. So this generation apparently, and when you ask any teacher, please do, or if you know teachers
Yeah,
around
yeah,
you,
yeah.
they will all tell you that the school books today and the whatever the content of at school is actually, they lowered their standards. They made it easier for students to pass for yeah, because the kids apparently weren't capable of coping, weren't and for XYZ reasons, right? That could be because they're not capable of focusing that long anymore, because they're not capable of diving as deep into the material. Um, because I mean, there can be many reasons regarding that, and I'm pretty sure we haven't figured that out yet. And again, I'm speaking conditionally. If that is true, it's a real issue, and and I hope it's not. That's why I speak conditionally. I really, really do
Yeah.
hope they are wrong with these reports, because this only came out recently, and that would be a very worrying situation. And I'm pretty sure AI will not help a thing with that.
You know, I was just about to say about AI because so you've got there's so many worries with it with technology. So
Yes.
for one, they're not getting out exercising like me and you did when we were little and connecting with other people. So we're losing connection and like doing physical things. But now AI's come out and you can have a conversation with it like it's your friend. So we're
Right.
losing. I mean, what the hell is that?
Oh, I can totally see a future where, by the way, I'm in the beginning when AI came out, I was very optimistic about it. And now I start having concerns because I see how people use it.
Yes,
They're
yeah,
not using it the way they should use it, right? And so, yeah, if you start using it as your personal shrink or something like that, or as a friend, I can totally see a future where in 20 years' time, because robotics is developing very smart, very fast as well, in 20 years' time, people will prefer having a relationship with a robot with AI in it installed in it than having
yeah.
a relationship with a real person, because it's easier, it's less messy, and you can just program them the way you want them, and and there are not the mood swings aren't there, and the down moments aren't there. I mean, they can always be cheerful if they want to. I mean, if you program to, if you ask them to, it's everything will be so
Scary.
controllable, and with robotics, I mean, we already obviously there are already sex dolls and stuff, but I'm pretty sure in 20 years time that it you will have a fully functional robot from head to toe that will be almost undistinguishable from a real person, being able to interact with you, with also having social and emotional cues to interact with. They won't feel like a robot anymore, and you will be able to have sexual intercourse with that robot, and you'll prefer that to real stuff. I'm pretty sure, not everybody, but
I think you're right. I think you're right because
there will be many
you can go
people
on Chat
preferring that.
GBT now and you can get your therapist, you can
Yeah.
get a dating advisor,
Yes.
you can ask it anything. You don't actually have to have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah. Yes. And I already have. Uh, Now I'm thinking of one friend in particular who admitted who told me recently, like, oh yeah, no, AI ChatGPT is my best friend. I talk everybody every day, and I'm not giving prompts. I'm not giving orders. I'm just having a friendly conversation. And I already she already gave a name to it, and it's a relationship, and goes like, yeah, he's my best friend. I was like, oh my God, yeah, scary shit.
Yeah, you see, I'm worried because it's
And
like
it's
you
only the
always,
beginning. I mean,
yeah,
we are at AI, where in 1991 we were with the internet. I don't
yeah,
know. I mean, I was around in 1991. I remember it. I
yes.
was a student. You didn't have images. You just had prompts. You had to plug it in and have like the weird sound to get
The
connected to the
dial up,
internet.
yes, yeah.
You know, right?
And you couldn't use the phone at the same time because it'd knock your internet out.
Exactly, exactly. Well, that's where we're at today. There
Yeah,
weren't even images, let alone videos. If you wanted to watch a video a couple of years later, you had to download it. And to download it, you had to wait like half an hour to get like a 2 minute video. And
yes,
that's where we come from. And that's where we are now with AI.
yeah,
So
scary.
imagine 20 years from now what AI will be capable of. It's going to be an amazing, amazing world, and a part of our society will be enslaved by it because they will just become addicted to it, and it's going to be so easy, everything, and they will stop using their own brain, just like with the smartphone. They will outsource everything to it,
Yeah,
and and that's when it becomes potentially extremely dangerous, but also but also for mental health, right?
yeah.
Because what will be the self-esteem of those people,
I mean, you see it in adults,
right?
like at my age, I'm 44, but you'll see adults that are addicted to their phone
Yeah.
or, and struggle with mental health because cons- comparison, confidence, like it's
Yes.
all there. You
Yes.
compare your life to somebody else's.
And if you outsource everything, and everything, you each time you have a question, or I mean, if you don't know anything yourself anymore, you have to ask absolutely everything to AI, who's omnipresent. It will be. Maybe you'll have a chip in your brain where you can ask immediately to it. I don't know, because they're working on that technology as well. But the thing is, how will you feel about your own capabilities, your own skill set, your own everything, if you 100% rely on AI and technology, right? What will be your self-esteem, your self-worth, if you know deep inside that you're worth nothing because you rely on AI?
Yeah,
How will that work out for your mental health, right?
yeah.
That,
It,
I mean, it's, yeah, I mean, we're going into a direction that is potentially, and I'm not saying everybody will do that, but a large portion of the population will, because we are, our brain is inherently lazy. It doesn't like to do the extra effort. If it can avoid doing effort, it will avoid it. And AI,
makes things
it's
easy,
there.
doesn't it?
Sorry?
It makes things easy.
Yeah.
It just makes it everything so easy.
Yes. Yes. So that's where we're
It,
going.
it's scary. Do you think it will have a knock on effect? So obviously, you see, like the average age of passing away creeps up and up and up. We're living a lot longer than we were 50
Mhm.
years ago. Can you see that coming down because of
No.
the lack
No.
of like? we're not getting out and about talking to people, losing that connectivity. We're not using our brains as much. Surely it's got to have like a kind of impression on lifespan.
I don't think so because we continue to we live more and more healthily, right? I mean, we eat better, we smoke less, we drink less, we exercise more, you know, all those things that we know that are like the cornerstones of our health, which are immediately directly related to brain health as well, by the way. Those are improving. So
Yeah,
that is good. That is really good. And I think we're gonna live, yeah, there will be a point where everybody will reach 100 or more or less, unless you get like a car accident or something like that. But even there, the cars will be driving themselves, so everything
yeah,
will be controlled. So no, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting, fascinating, even. And I believe that a part of society will be aware of the pitfalls
yeah,
and will work around them and will be making sure that they know how to use AI in a way that reinforces them, that makes them better, that makes them more effective, more efficient, more productive, more everything, and at the same time still working on their own capacities, their own cognitive capabilities and intellectual, yeah, their IQ levels will be higher, etc., etc. So, but that will most probably be a big part of the today's elites and tomorrow's elites. Um, and they will pass that knowledge and those skills on to their children. So, and then there will be, and then there will be the masses who will just be consuming.
yeah. Because people always split, don't they? You'll get, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
When I was young, we were talking about the have and the have-nots. And then with internet, I mean, we started seeing like there's a split about those who can use technology and those who can't, right? But now this will divide between being capable of using technology and not using it properly, let's put it that way.
yeah,
That that will only make a bigger difference in quality of life. And if you're just consuming stuff like we're already doing, most of us, it's going to be, it's like in Roman times, right? There was for the plebs, you needed to have, how do you say that in English? Games and bread, right?
yes, yeah,
Bread and games. That was it. Bread
yeah,
and games. And so yeah, it's probably going to be very similar to that. And the slaves will be the robots doing the work. And but the majority of people will just be consuming the bread and games and not,
yeah.
and only the elites will be really thriving and yeah, just living their best life because they will be able to use all that technology. Anyway, I don't know. I wasn't planning on sounding so negative
No, no, no. I
and
like it.
predicting the future. No, I'm
I
not.
like it because I think it's good to know what's coming because if we're aware of it, we can make a choice,
Yes.
and
No.
that's the big thing.
Now,
You
at the
can make
same
a choice.
time, let's switch this and look at the positives. Because right now, at the same time that I'm saying all this, right now, our society isn't going well at all either. We have a huge epidemic of people of loneliness, of
Yeah, yeah,
especially the older people, but more and more also younger generations. But the older you get, the more alone you get, and it sucks, but that's how it works because the older you get, I mean, the more friends you have who pass away,
yeah,
and then little by little, and your kids are all grown up and have and are in the rat race and don't have time for you, and so the older you live, the less social contacts you have, and if you live alone, if you're still capable of taking care of yourself, well, you yeah, you can't. you can't interact. There are people who only watch television the whole day, and even in the nursery homes, right? The old the home for
Yeah, nursing.
elderly.
Yeah,
You see, I mean, I had my grandmother, one of my grandmothers there, and they just parked them in front of the telly
awful places,
the
aren't they?
whole day.
Yeah,
So sad. Now think about what technology can mean for those people. If you have a robot helping them at home and where with whom they can interact and talk and have a real conversation
yes,
instead of just watching telly. That will keep them cognitively much more engaged for way longer, right? It would slow down cognitive decline, definitely. It would let them live um, independently for longer if there's a robot cooking for them, stuff like that. It
yeah,
that would be amazing. Um, I mean, because yeah, that's not a part of the population that I'm really worried about. This the youngsters one part, but the elderly is another one. It's really sad how we treat our elder and it's just the way our society functions. There is no room, there's no place for them, and
yeah. I
it's
get what you're saying.
sad. And
Yeah,
and I mean, but you can't just go like most people can't have like granny and coming in and live with them. And no, there's no room. There's no uh, because you work all day, you can't leave them alone because very often they need help with all kind of stuff. They can't go out and uh, yeah, buy stuff. Or I mean, if they have troubles walking or anything like that, anyway. And our houses or apartments aren't very often aren't made for people who have mobility issues and stuff like that.
yeah,
So we've moved away from the intergenerational household. We
yes,
used to have like three generations in one house or in one
yeah.
household, right? So you had the grandparents, the parents, the kids, and that was great because the kids. I mean, you can't slow down a kid, right?
Can't.
You cannot, right? So try to slow down a 5-year-old. That's not possible. And the interaction with the smaller kids would be so good for the elderly, for the grandparents who would be under the same roof. Because even though maybe they would play cards with them or at least have conversations with them, and the kids would be so fast, they would have to follow one way or another. They would be stimulated in a way that no nursery house home can ever do, right? And yeah, and they would try to follow the stories, and if they become, and when the kids become teenagers, and the friends, and the ooh, and I'm in love with this one and that one, and oh wait, but wasn't Jerry the boyfriend of yeah, of Annie? Yeah, no, but that was a month ago. Now it's different. Oh, okay. And anyway, it would be like yeah. I mean, you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We
That's sad that we've lost that connection and
we
that
don't do that
company.
anymore, and actually we've done it for generations, not for thousands of years. We
Yeah,
lived in small societies. We were tribes, were mostly family, yeah, families living together, sometimes several families under one roof. And now it's like, oh, you're 20, you're done. Get out and get your own apartment. And we all, I mean, being adult, mature and responsible is living on your own, right? That's what society sells us.
yeah,
And actually, we're social beings. Our brain, the social part of our brain is so important. It's take the social part away. One of the one of the most cruel things you can do to inmates in a prison cell is put them in solitary confinement, right?
yeah,
It literally drives people mad, crazy, nuts. And so that social component is so important. Our brain needs interaction with other people to be healthy, to go well, to function well. So take that away with the elderly, and that you end up with a faster cognitive decline. Take that away in the youngsters because they end up on their phone and they don't interact anymore with real people. Well, you get mental health issues, you get higher suicide rates, unfortunately, as well. But
Yeah.
all just
Yeah.
in general, depression and anxiety before that is sometimes not with every teenager, but once they get in the negative spiral, it's really bad. Our brain, to be healthy, to thrive, needs that interaction with other people around them at any age, the youngsters, the kiddos, the elderly, but us adults in the full glory of our age. Well, we need it as well. And
Yeah.
but then again, yeah, society, we get we work all day, we're tired, we're coming home, and then we end up binge watching Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And what would we do before? And before, when is before? I don't know, 10,000 years ago. Well, we would hunt together and we would go and collect fruits or vegetables or whatever. And in the evening, we would light a fire and talk around the fire about what we did that day. And it would be several generations together. That pattern that I just described, we did that for not hundreds of years, not thousands of years, not tens of thousands of years, but hundreds of thousands of years. And now suddenly we go like, yeah, you're 18 year or 20 or 21, whatever. You go and live by yourself. That's not how our brain developed.
No. It's sad, isn't it?
It
When
when
you
I
make
mean
it like that, it's
when I
very,
explain
very
it
sad.
that way, it
Yeah.
sounds it is sad actually.
Yeah.
Because it's not that you want, yeah, but okay, so we put three generations in one room, in under one roof, and everything will be fixed. Of course not. Because the thing is, it wasn't one family and not a family. No, it was several families together. It was a whole tribe. We used to live like uh, small groups of about 200 people maximum together. We couldn't go further than that because the land wouldn't give enough food. We were hunter-gatherers, right? We it wasn't we weren't capable of living in bigger groups than that. And so they it always if the group became too big, it had to split into two separate groups. And that's what the youngsters would do, right? They would
Yeah.
go together and they would have plans about and it's not one or two kids in one family. No, it would be one and two kids and one and two kids from another family, and there would be a whole bunch of them, and they would live their adventures together, and they would grow together, and they would be like a bit like we do at school. That's yeah, school is actually good for that. Um, but yeah, but don't get me started on the school system. Oh my God. I just opened another can of worms. There's so much going not the way it should from a brain's perspective, right? I'm always look at it from in an ideal world. I'm not saying that living like cavemen was better. Obviously, I mean there was food shortage, there was famine, there was drought, there was disease, there were predators. I mean, it was tough. I mean, it took us 250,000 years or more before we ended up being capable of developing something. I mean, what today we would call civilization, but it was tough, and yeah, I'm romanticizing a lot right now. But why wouldn't I mean? But I'm pretty sure it's enough to look at all the mental health issues we have
Oh, absolutely.
that we're not going in the right direction. The mental health issues is our brain. Just like you have pain, when you hurt yourself, you burn yourself. Your physical body is warning you and saying you, ouch, get out. I mean, this is pain. This is not, don't continue whatever
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
doing. Our mental health, our anxiety, our depression, our stress levels, or the burnout levels, all that is the same for our brain as the physical pain is for our body. It's a warning signal saying like this is not good. You better change your behavior because this is not good. And what the society tells us, don't be weak. you
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just need
Burnout's
to
normal now,
uh,
apparently.
get through it. I mean, you're just yeah,
Yeah, it's
be a
tough,
man
isn't it? Yeah. I think yeah,
or a
it's
woman.
yeah. And yeah, it's either you go to therapy just to talk about your problems or you come out worse, feeling worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Over here in the UK, we're quick to hand out antidepressants instead of
Oh
going,
yeah. Oh
yeah, go
Don't
out
get
in
me
nature,
started with the antidepressants.
change your diet. A doctor won't ever tell you over here to change your diet, get out in nature.
Yes.
They'll hand you a prescription.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Okay, so
yeah,
this is interesting, and luckily, I mean, there was some progress regarding that. One of my students, um, I had a very long discussion with one of my students recently, who she's in beginning early 70s, and she was explaining to me like when she was in her 20s, she had mental health issues. She ended up in an institution, and coming out of there, she was followed by a psychiatrist, a neuropsychiatrist. And so I was very, I mean, yeah, interested because of professional
yeah, yeah,
reasons, obviously. I went like, okay, so how often would you go there? What would you discuss? What would be the therapies you would be using? How was this person trying to get you out of the heavy depression you had and stuff like that? And she was like, she was like, oh my boy. She was like, yeah, it's they only the way they did it back then was just medication. There was nothing else but that. That was it. And so I was like, yeah, but I mean, I started talking about the different options we have today. She was
yeah,
like, no, that didn't exist. It was just medication. And so she ended up at about the age of 35, 37, something. I don't remember exactly. But with like over 30 different pills she had to take daily. Daily. When you're 35, you're not supposed to do, I mean, what? And apparently, I mean, yeah. So that was the way it was done back then, and it's up to a certain extent, it still happens today. I mean, they're too quick to give out medication for ADHD and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
ugh, it pisses me off when
yeah,
because there are so many misdiagnoses first and second, and then they just throw those pills like just like they were candy and no, 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 there's a whole behavioral component to brain health that would straighten up any mild signs of seriously ADHD, but depression, anxiety, anything that is mild can easily be dealt with from a behavioral point of view. So just lifestyle changes, simple things, and just getting like yeah, going once a week to your therapist and the therapist doing the follow-up, but not about your medication, but about your lifestyle changes. It becomes more like a guide, right? That is so much more effective than the medication because medication, well, once you stop it,
yeah.
what happens, right? You fall back into your depression and anxiety levels and everything because it doesn't cure
Yeah.
you. It
Doesn't
just
kill
works
you.
on
I mean, I
just
talk
works
to
on the
people.
symptoms.
Yeah, I've talked to people who have been on antidepressants 10 years and yet they're still depressed.
Yeah,
So when are they going to start working?
yeah,
Like,
yes, yes, no, and so yeah, so it's seriously an issue when it shouldn't be. We can do better. We should do better. And we know how to do better. That's what, yeah, that's what annoys me as well. We know very well. I mean, I mean, with the Brain Academy and we everything I teach at the academy is about it's about empowerment, but through the understanding of how the brain functions, right? And
yeah,
the brain health is the basis of that. Um, and I know this because I've studied all this myself. But not only did I study it, but as I said in the beginning, I applied everything to myself.
well, that's it. Knowledge is power, and that's what you give
Right.
people. Because I mean, people don't know until they know. And
Yeah.
nobody's going to sit there on Google and learn all about the brain because Google has many different answers, you know.
Yes.
So
No,
I'll
and there's so
always
much.
recommend people just to come to you, whatever topic they want, whether it's habits and neuroplasticity, whether it's brain health,
Yeah.
just talk to you.
Yeah. Well, and there's so much misinformation. There's so many brain myths. There's so many, and people come to me with, oh, I think I'm more right brain or left brain. And I go like, no, that's not a thing. And then, and then people go like, oh, but I only use 10% of my brain. What would happen if I would use my full 100%? I go, no, that's not a thing either. And, uh, and so just to make my life easier, I started a YouTube channel with a lot of information out there just for free. People can go and check it out, and um, and just to get the right information out.
Yes.
And how do I know the right information? Well, I go through the actual research, the actual studies. I buy the university books and manuals, and uh, I, I I have links with organizations, research organizations, I and the drama regarding neuroscience and brain science in general is that all those are very badly written. I mean, those scientists, they don't know how to communicate. And 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 so it's so boring and so opaque and the wording, they use so much jargon. It's very tough literature.
Yes.
There are so many gems in there. So that's what I try to do. I take that and I translate it into proper, like everyday's normal English and make it accessible to everybody because the content, the information is just way too good to keep it hidden behind obscure jargon. Because yeah, I mean, this can potentially change lives, and it does all the time. And I know it does. It did for me, and I know it does for so many of my students who have given me that feedback. And so, uh, yeah, and as you were saying, knowledge is really power.
Yeah, and I think it's that thing you said at the beginning, it's knowing the why, because once you understand your brain and oh, that's why that happens,
Right.
it's life changing.
Yeah, and you need to understand that your brain, unfortunately, it's just an organ like another. And the brain works, follows certain rules. And one of those rules is energy efficiency. And so um, and the brain has compensation mechanism, coping mechanism when something doesn't go well, but then it continues running that coping mechanism for decades, even though you don't need it anymore. And so suddenly you're 40 years old and you do stuff that were useful when you were 15 or 12, and you're still doing them. And and in most cases, well, it can be limiting your communication with other people, but in most cases it's just self-sabotage. You're
Yeah.
just working against your own best interest, not because you're stupid, but because your brain has learned a certain pattern and just continues playing out that pattern over and over and over again. And as long as you're not aware of it, you're just gonna repeat that stuff.
Yeah, I suppose that's it. Once you know the why, you can change it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you need to see it. And many people, I was one of them. Many people just repeat the same errors over and over again. And then at one point you go like, "Oh my God, I've been through this so many times. Why do I need to go through this again? I mean, this must be, is this karma? What have I done in another life?" You know,
Yes. Oh, I've had
and
many moments like that as well.
well, it's not another life, it's this life, and it's
Yeah.
patterns that were engraved in your brain when you were younger, and they served a purpose. They protected you, they helped you get through. I don't know, maybe your parents were very controlling and very strict. Maybe you saw firsthand something really bad happening to people close to you and that impacted you. Maybe I don't know, you were very outspoken and that wasn't tolerated at school and then you learned how to shut up. But now 30 years later, it would be good to come to speak up and to defend your own interest, and you don't need to be afraid of a principal or a teacher anymore. They're not there anymore. It's your life. Empower your life, take back control, right?
Oh, I
and
love that.
and 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 most people, again, it's knowledge, right? Don't
Yeah.
if you don't know, first of all, that it's happening, and second of all, and once you know it's happening, how to take back control, yeah, well, you're going to repeat that same cycle over and over and over and over again,
Yeah.
nonstop. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
that's when many people go to psychologists or therapists, which is great. But many psychologists and therapists actually, that's the scary part. They don't know about this stuff either. I have so many coaches and therapists and even psychologists who go through my programs actually to learn about this, and I'm so glad they do. And that's why I developed some of those programs because people. I mean, it's time. We can't continue like this. We need to know. Everybody needs to know this stuff. It's that simple. So,
Yeah, that's so true.
yeah,
I have one last question for you, which you might find
sure.
hard to answer because
Oh,
neuroscience is a massive field.
it is.
But which is your favorite topic when it comes to the brain?
So I have like periods, like Picasso who had his Cubism period and other periods, and he goes from one to the other. Well, I'm not Picasso, but but when it comes to brain science, I have my periods. I was at one point I was totally fascinated by neuroplasticity. Then I was totally fascinated by neurogenesis. You know, um, recently the last couple of years I've been totally into the self-sabotage mechanism, right?
Oh, okay.
And I wrote a book about it as well, right? It's called "It's Not You, It's Your Brain." It's the answer.
Oh,
It's the
wow.
answer to what's wrong with me. It's not
Okay.
you. It's your
I get
brain.
that in the UK.
Sure, you can find it on Amazon. Uh,
Amazon, right? Okay,
yeah.
we'll get a link up for that. Perfect.
So, and that's the thing. Um, so the understanding of our brain's interest is not to make us happy. It's not to make us thrive. It's not to have success in life. Our brain's number one job 100,000 years ago up till recently was to keep us alive, avoiding danger, you know? And guess what? It's still doing that today.
Yeah, it's not
And
changed.
and by doing it, it's holding us back all the time. Avoiding danger. Ooh, I like that girl or boy. I should go and talk to him or her. Ooh, no, maybe he's going to reject. That's avoid danger. Boom, activated. Maybe that person was the love of your life. You just missed your opportunity. Um, a job. Yeah, maybe oh, but I probably won't be able to do that job, so I won't even apply. Maybe that was the job of your life. You're avoiding even, you're not even trying. You
Yeah,
You're not even trying. So many people want to write a book. I was one of them, you know, like, oh yeah, oh, I should write a book. I would love to write a book. They say that for decades. They never write a book. Why not? What is holding you back? Oh
yeah.
no, but I don't have the time. Everybody. I mean, you can all if you stop scrolling, you'll find the time.
Yes.
I mean, oh, I would love to do a tour to go and visit whatever country. Do it.
Yeah,
No, we're so good at coming up with excuses. Our brain is so good at disguising this fear, these insecurities. It comes up with all kind of excuses, and those excuses sound like really like rational and sound and make sense, but they're just excuses that our brain make up because it's afraid. It's avoiding danger. And
yeah,
yeah, once you start understanding that and you start taking action, it changes everything. So right now, I'm still I feel I start evolving towards a new phase, but I'm at the end of the phase of the self-sabotaging, and I'm getting into the repair phase.
right. Okay.
And the repair phase, what is that? It's the understanding that it could be a book by itself, but it's the understanding that just like when you do a lot of sports, your body hurts, it needs to repair itself, right? Our brain as well. Every night, it's through sleep. Sleep is the maintenance of the brain, so sleep is extremely important for the brain. It's the one thing, the quick win to get a better brain. Sleep better. Make that your number one priority. It's that easy. But beyond that, and that's very interesting, in our social interactions
Yeah,
with people, repair is as important as physical repair, as cognitive repair, the social repair, the social maintenance with people. Understanding that what makes a relationship strong is not having a perfect relationship, being it loving or friendship, right? It's not having the perfect relationship where we never fight. It's not about that. It's about being able to fight and repair. And the repairing, that capacity is what makes friendships and romantic relationships the strongest. Yeah, I mean, like unbreakable. And
I
that has caught my attention lately.
I love that. Well, thank you. So if anybody's listened to this, I know you're all going to be like, I need to find out more. So you've got the Brain Academy, you've got your
Right.
YouTube channel. We'll put all the links on here as well. You've got your
Right.
YouTube channel. You can do courses with you. Do you have to do the certificate, or can you do individual courses?
Yeah, no, we have like over a dozen courses on the Academy. There's a free stuff on there. So we have free course. Oh, it's a fun free course introduction and a course. It's called Seven Things About the Brain I Wish I Knew When I Was Younger. I know it's a mouthful, but it's a fun, great little course that
I
gives
like
you a lot
that.
of insight. YouTube, everything is free. Go and explore that. You can get on our email list when you register at the academy. You actually gain access for free. Again, I'm trying to do as much as possible for free to our community where you can interact with other people, like-minded people. Then there are small courses that, I mean, the price range, we start very low. I believe like in the $20 for a for the smaller ones. And that goes up I mean, you have full certification to become a brain coach with the academy as well. That would be like a premium program. But we also have intermediate program where we have a new program called Own Your Life, which is really about that empowerment that I was talking about. That is available as well. And yeah, so brainacademy.com, that's where you can find
Yeah, yeah.
us. And
Perfect.
the other links, yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
yeah, we'll put them
there.
all on, and then we can't forget about the book as well.
Right, the
You
book.
realise, I didn't realise
Absolutely.
I read a
It's
book.
not
So
you, it's your brain.
your brain. Well, thank you for
You're
joining
welcome.
me. Thank you for everything that you've taught me as well. I definitely put it into practice as well, and it is life changing. So thank you for just you make the world a better place.
Thank you, Amy. Well, actually, I like to say at the academy, that's one of the things we say, right? We're making the world a better place. Oh no, we're changing the world one brain at a time.
I love that so much. You are such an inspiration. I recommend everybody to follow Gregory. Get signed up to his courses. You will not regret it. Once you know, you can't forget it, really, can you? You just know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Lovely. Well, you take care.
Thank you. You too. And thank you again for having me.
No problem.